I am absolutely thrilled, delighted and honoured to welcome the Golden Bear onto our set here, live from the Players' Championship. What an honour, Mr. Nicklaus. Thank you so much for joining us. The 50th anniversary of this great championship. You are the first winner, the only three-time winner. Just how special is this week for the PGA Tour? How special is the anniversary of the Players' Championship?
Well, I don't know. I didn't think about it until somebody told me it was 50. But, you know, it was always an honor to win the Players' Championship, and it's always nice to have your name on a trophy. And, of course, I won it 3 out of 5. I didn't win it here. I don't know where I finished here. I think I finished, a few times in the top 10, but I don't remember. But it's, when I won my last one, I was 38, so obviously I was pretty well done playing a lot of tournament golf by the time we got here.
Okay, so you didn't win it here, but when you first came here in 1982 and saw this stadium course, do you remember what your immediate impression was and what was your thought process going into that first one here?
No. No, coming here and playing, it's... I knew that I played a lot of golf in Jacksonville. I knew that Jacksonville was at the time of year, which is basically this time of year. Weather could be anything. And I always liked having weather be part of your tournament. And, of the major championships, if you got the Masters, weather always plays a part. U.S. Open, British Open. And the PGA, it didn't play a part until now they moved to May. So it plays a part in everything. So to have it play a part here at the Players, too, I think is important. And so, and then the golf course would set up so that, one day, like it is today, which we didn't have very many days like today, you could shoot a low score. But if it wasn't like today, hold on to your hat.
Mr. Nicklaus, 50 years ago when this tournament started, could you have ever imagined that the venue would turn into what it is today with the infrastructure and stadium golf and now the new global home of the PGA Tour?
Well, I think that, can we imagine what golf has turned into? I mean, no, we didn't have any of that idea. I think that, I don't know, what was the first year they played here?
1982.
82? Yeah, so we did the first stadium golf course, we did at Muirfield, actually. And that was one that was done from its inception. Augusta added the mounds and so forth. But then Dean took it to another level and went to, benching the seats in and really created a bigger stadium. Now, it's fantastic. It's, to come here as a player when I played, it was fantastic to play. But it was, always a challenging golf course for me.
What was the most challenging part for you about this golf course?
I didn't shoot enough low scores.
I had a feeling that was going to be the answer.
Jack, what do you make of this view behind us, the par 3 17th? What's your assessment of this hole?
I love the 17th hole. I've sort of copied the idea of it several times on golf courses I've done. I've never quite put a green in quite that small, but I think that I think it's really, I don't know whether it's in the right place on the golf course or not. I think you guys have talked about that a lot. And because, once you get down 71 holes or 70 holes, and all of a sudden you can make a big number and boop, the week is gone. That bothers me, but it's a great hole. I got a great finish here. Birdie at 16 is important. Chance for eagle at 16. What you can do at 17, you can make double bogey or you can make birdie. And then 18, again, you hold on to your hat a little bit. That's a difficult shot. I saw what Rory did a little while ago, and after he drove it in the water, then knock it on the green from there. And we all were sitting back watching that. I said, well, he must have pulled that second shot about 25 yards because he was certainly aiming well to the right of that.
What was your thought process on that 18th tee? I mean, that's just an incredibly important and difficult tee shot.
I always played it with a 1-iron, actually. Yeah, because I always felt like I didn't want to end my golf tournament there. 3-wood would take me too far into the trees if I missed it right. 1-iron, if I pushed it in the right rough a little bit, I still had a clean shot to the green. And, of course, obviously, I wasn't going in the water. And so that's sort of what I did. And then I usually ended up with playing a 5 or 6 iron to the green.
You said you weren't totally aware that this was the 50th year, but as important as the PGA Tour has been in your career and your life in general, you must be immensely proud when you see what this has really grown into.
What we started back in 1968, You know, when we left the PGA of America, formed our own tour, what was it, tournament? I don't remember what we called it, ATP or some Association of Tournament Players or something like that. Anyway, we started that, and what it's grown into, you know, Arnold was a big instrument part of that. Arnold, Gardner Dickinson, and I were on the board. We're the ones that broke away to have more rights for the players, and you know, and then it's been taken from there. Dean, the first commissioner, did a great job. Tim Fincham took it to another level. Then Jay, I think, just done a fantastic job. And of course, the game of golf itself, Mark, you know, people want to see the game, and the ability to be able to have this. We're sitting here at 17, looking around us. The number of people that can see, let alone who's on television, the number of people here, it's fantastic.
Where would you like to see it go from here?
The game?
The game.
Well, that's a pretty good question. I know we've got a few issues we got to clean up right now. Once we get those issues come up, I would always like to see the best players in the world play together, you know. And that's they do at the major championships right now, to a certain degree. A few of the live players can go there, but not very many, because only the ones that have qualified for them. But I like to see all the best players in the world play together, and they come together. And I think the PGA schedule is fantastic now, being able to play your, I don't know what you call them, signature tournaments, but then add the tournaments that they're building, that are in between, which is the basis of the tour, are building new stars. They're bringing new names out, giving people the opportunity to move up into the rankings. I think the PGA structure is pretty darn good right now.
Speaking of the best talent in the world, Jack, Scotty Scheffler is, of course, world #1, and he's defending. How special of a talent do you think he is? Could he be the next dominant player?
Oh, Scotty is, well, you know, he's pretty special, as you're right. I look at him, I say, okay, I see him, he slipped again. Where did it go? Right down the middle. But he has such a strange swing and strange follow-through that you wonder how you play from there. And I've never seen anybody else play that way. But he does, and he obviously plays well. And when he gets to putting well, that's when he's tough. Because last week he made a bunch of putts in a row that just were coming down. I didn't see it, but I told coming down the stretch he was fantastic. But anyway, he's a good player. And we got a lot of good players out here. There's a whole bunch of them.
I have to ask you about Rory McIlroy's driving, because you were the greatest driver I had ever seen by far. And now, when I watch Rory drive, it's just unbelievable to me how far he hits it, how straight he hits it. What do you think when you see Rory McIlroy drive the ball now?
Well, it's not so much I see Rory drive the ball, because Rory will do a little bit like what he did there at 18. On occasion, he puts himself in a position he really didn't need to be in. I mean, I don't want to second guess Rory, because that's not my position. But, you know, I'd like to see Rory take advantage of what he can take advantage of, his ability to hit it long, his ability to hit it straight, and when he's got some holes that can't, back it up a little bit.
One question, just follow up on the state of the game today, Jack. Do you think it would help if today's player would look back at what you all did when you were talking about you and Arnold and the ATP days, and not so much what you did, but how you did it? Because as you said, you broke away. Mm-hmm. Things were different, you changed them, but the way you went about it is totally different than the way we seem to be going about the future of the game right now.
Well, we tried to do it in the best interest of the game. The PGA of America is who we separated from, but when we formed the policy board, we had 3 PGA of America executives on the board, so that they had a big say. They should have said. We didn't want to break away from them as the game. We just felt like the players should control their own destiny, and that's really what we did. And the players are controlling their own destiny. They have for the last, what is it?
40 years.
70.
Yeah, 40, 50
70,
years.
76 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you back just a couple weeks ago. You said something about stars in the game.
56 years.
56 years. Good math.
I'm sorry. My math wasn't good the first time. I'm sorry, John.
No worries. You had mentioned earlier about growing new stars in the game. The Cognizant Classic of the Palm Beaches, I know that's a tournament that's close to your heart. Austin Eckroat kind of broke out onto the scene, had a really nice rookie year last year. What do you make of a guy like that, and what did you learn about him, the way he played that golf course?
Well, wonderful opportunity for a young man like that. I mean, here you are. Now he's always been a good player. He's played well. He played at Oklahoma State with Victor. And, you know, I guess they won the NCAA together. And here, all of a sudden, now we get back, and he hadn't quite gotten there. Now he's gotten there. And that, when winning breeds winning, you're going to hear a lot more from Austin Eckroat. Any question about that?
If I want to go back to Rory McIlroy really quick, since he's on the top of everybody's minds because he's on the top of the board. If he came to you, and I know it's not your style to give him, as you said, not to give him advice, but if he came to you and said, Mr. Nicklaus, what do I need to do to get back in the winner's circle at major championships? What do I have to do to win those, to give myself opportunities like you gave yourself back in the day to win those on a regular basis? What would you tell him?
Well, I spent a lot of Rory's early years talking to him about exactly that kind of stuff. And Rory came to me, and we talked half a dozen times. You know, the first time we talked was at when he was down to the Honda tournament, now the Cognizant. And he was like 19 years old. He couldn't finish. He had a horrible time finishing. And I talked to him about being patient and how to know who you are and play within yourself and not try to do things you can't do. And particularly when you get into contention, don't do dumb things. Do the things, if you have to get a little bit more conservative on the awkward side. Every hole's got about 5 or 6 short shots you got to watch out for. This one's got maybe even more than that. But that's what you got to do. So he took that advice. He went on. About 3 weeks later, he played in Charlotte, shot 63 the last round. And I dropped him a note. I said, I told you to be patient, but this is ridiculous. But anyway, it's the same type of thing. And then after he did what he did at the Masters and shot 80 the last round, came to me at the Memorial Tournament a couple weeks before the U.S. Open at Congressional. And he talked to me. I said, okay, now, Roy, did you learn from your experience? I said, did you learn why you lost the tournament? You know, when I grew up and I made my mistakes, I learned from them. I tried not to repeat my mistakes. And that's what I was hoping he would talk about. I didn't want to tell him what to do. I wanted him to find out himself what to do. So anyway, he says, I think I learned from it. And I said, okay. I said, well, we wish you well at Congressional. Went to Congressional, what, he win by 9 shots or something? So I dropped him a note. I said, now, you did obviously learn something from what happened at the Masters. But more importantly, did you learn from why you won? Because not only how you lose, it's how you win. If you put that combination together, it makes you a better player. I love Roy. He's a great guy. He's a great player. I see him a lot. And, you know, I don't want to interject myself in his life. And because, I mean, he's 33 years old now, I guess. And he's got his own life to live and his own way to play. But anytime he wants to talk to me, which he has through the years, I've always been available. And frankly, I've been very flattered that somebody Rory's age would come to an old goat like me and see if they can learn something.
I don't know, Jack. I think you're a pretty good resource to turn to. But just finally, just on this week, just to bring it back, I mean, 73 PGA Tour wins. When you look back on your PGA Tour career, what stands out to you? Is there a moment outside of the majors that you really reflect on with fondness?
Well, I organized my year around the majors. And, you know, and we didn't know whether the Players' Championship was going to be a major or not, so I wanted to win as many of them as I could just in case they decide to change their mind. And we had the same with the Memorial Tournament. I wanted to do there, and I won there a couple of times, too. So, you know, I just always wanted to play the important tournaments. And I wanted to be ready to play those important tournaments. That's what I tried to do. And, you know, did I find other tournaments important and intriguing? Yeah. I love playing at Pebble Beach. If I had one round of golf to go play, I'd probably go to Pebble Beach because I love it. I think it's just a wonderful spot. And, you know, the British Open, the type of tournament they play in, I love going to Britain and playing. That's why I always went over, maybe not just a weekend, but I went over 10 days ahead of time because I loved the style of golf. It was fun. And so, you know, there are a lot of other tournaments that we played through the time that when you played on good golf courses that I enjoyed playing. I never liked playing golf courses that you'd shoot 65 on every day. I remember, I'm not going to mention the tournament. I didn't play in it very often, but they asked me to come. I said, fine, okay, I'll come this year. I went and I shot 67 the first round, and I was in 17th place. I shot 68 the first round, was 17th. Shot 67 the second round, was in 25th place. Shot 67 the third round, I was in 32nd place. Shot 67 the last round and finished 42nd. And I said, I don't think this place is for me. So that's the kind. So I avoided that kind of golf because I always felt the game of golf was not a putting contest. It was being able to hit good tee shots, play good smart second shots, being able to chip and putt, but being able to manage your game around a difficult area and not only beat the other players with your clubs, but beat them with your head. I enjoyed that. That was what was fun. And so putting contests never interested me. But anyway, the tour, you're going to have some putting contests because you can't help it. So, some guys like that. And that's why we've got different tours. And some people always come to say to me, gee, this course doesn't fit me. I said, it's not supposed to. You're supposed to fit yourself to the course. That's why we play different courses and different venues every time.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect example of that here at TPC Sawgrass. Mr. Nicklaus, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And it's a pleasure having you on the desk and enjoy the week.
Thank you very much.